I'm going to use my ATW pattern again to string a bobble-lock tennis racket. I'm using a polyester string in this racket this time, and that's why I'm using the ATW pattern. I've got the center 12 mains in tensioned. The 7th main on each side is not tensioned, but it's ran in. I've done everything at up to this point as I normally would. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my short side to do my around the world. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull tension on the short side here on the main string. I'm going to hold that tension with a starting clamp. That will free up this clamp. I'm going to take it off right now just to get it out of my way. I'm going to run the outside main on the short side of the racket. I want to leave enough of a loop here so that when I come down here to pull tension on this string, I'll be able to do that. Now I'm going to run my outside main on the long side. Now I'm going to run my crosses, and because I'm running the second cross in here, what's going to happen is there's a very, very short distance between this main string right here and this second grommet hole for the cross string. I don't want to make a short turn and come down and then go back across the racket, because I think that's going to put a lot of pressure on this section of the racket here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run my top cross first. Now I'm going to run my second cross. Let me just recap what I did now. When I got ready to run my short side for my around the world pattern, I tied off the 7th main with a starting clamp. Then I ran the outside main on the short side. I ran the bottom cross. I ran the outside main on the long side. Then, rather than coming down and making a sharp bend in my string, what I did is I went up, I ran the top cross opposite this 20th cross. Then I ran the second cross the same as the 20th cross. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my long side and run the third cross. Okay. When I do this now, I'm going to be going over this clamp. So what I'm going to try to do is set it up so that this clamp, I'm going straight through a tooth here. Here's a little problem that is easily solved by using this ATW pattern. Here's the loop that's on my long side string. If I just normally pull this through, what's going to happen is this string will be above this loop and this string will be below the loop. Just for the sake of how it looks, I want them both to be the same. So I'm just going to pull this tail up over this loop so that when I pull tension on this, both of these loops will be on the same side of the string. I just like my strings to look nice and neat when I... Okay, I've got another small issue here now. This is the clamp that's on the long side string. I've tensioned my third cross, which went straight through that clamp, so I didn't have any problem with that. Okay? Now what I've done is I've pre-weaved my fourth cross, which is right here, and this clamp is sort of getting in the way. If I pull tension on this string now, this clamp will be in the way and it'll have a big bend in this string, so I'm going to take this clamp off, because what I've got now is this clamp is holding the long side string, which I've used to route on the outside of the frame to the third cross, and I'm holding that with the clamp on the opposite side of the racket. So this, now that I've got that clamp removed, I can pull tension on this fourth cross string. Here's another advantage of using this ATW pattern. When I pull tension on this cross string now, this string right here, the outside main, is pretty limp, so I've got a good 2 inches, maybe more, of room in here so that I can clamp these strings as close to the frame as I want to get, and without distorting any of my main strings, so that when I get done stringing the racket, I don't have to straighten up as much. I'm done stringing this tennis racket. I haven't tensioned all the strings yet, but I've got it all strung in. I've ran all my main strings and tied off the, I've ran the long side cross strings and tied it off, and I've got about a foot of string left over. When I measured the short side on this racket, what I did is I just took 7 racket lengths, which is just shy of 16 feet of string, which left me a little over 24 feet of string to string the long side mains and the majority of my crosses. And I've got about maybe a foot and a half, 18 inches of string left over. So another advantage of using this pattern is I'm minimizing the length on the long side string that I'm using to string my tennis racket. Here's a disadvantage of using this ATW pattern. I used a set of string when I did this, and when I did it, I measured off 7 lengths of the racket from the short side, and the remainder I used for the long side. When I get done with the short side now, I've got about 4 feet of string here. Actually, it's about 55 inches, so it's about 4.5 feet of string that's left over here. So if you're taking your string off of a reel, you're going to waste an awful lot of string doing this. Of course, it's better than ending up short. I hope you enjoyed this video, and you'll find use for this stringing pattern the next time you string a racket. Thank you very much for your time.